Okay, look. Forget everything you think you know about leprechauns. Seriously. The tiny green suits, the cereal boxes, the cute little Irish guys dancing by a rainbow. It's all a massive marketing campaign. The real myth is way older, way darker, and honestly, a little terrifying. Before they were hoarding gold, these guys were part of a fallen race of Irish gods. Yeah, gods. Let's talk about how they actually came to be, and what happens when humans are dumb enough to mess with them. So, thousands of years ago in Ireland, there was this mythical race of super beings called the Tuatha De Danann. They ruled the island with magic. But then a new wave of invaders arrived, and the old gods lost a massive war. Instead of leaving, they used their magic to retreat underground. They became the AOSC, the fairy folk. Now, the leprechaun. He's a very specific branch of this fallen family tree. The word actually comes from Leith Brogan, meaning half shoemaker. Think about it, you're a former deity. You've been forced to live under a hill, so what do? Apparently you become a master craftsman. They became the cobblers of the fairy world. And because fairies love to dance, they wore out their shoes constantly. The leprechauns were making absolute bank in fairy gold. And because they didn't trust anyone, especially humans, they buried their wealth in secret spots all over Ireland. Naturally, humans found out about the gold, and this is where the chaos starts. There's an old folktale about a guy named Seamus. Seamus was broke, lazy, and walking through the woods one day when he hears this tiny tap-tap-tap sound. He creeps through the bushes and catches a leprechaun red-handed, working on a tiny boot. Now, fairy law says, if you keep your eyes locked on a leprechaun, he can't escape, and he has to show you his gold. Seamus threatens him, and the leprechaun, terrified, leads him to a massive field of weeds. He points to a specific thistle and says, "It's buried right under there." Seamus doesn't have a shovel, so he ties a bright red ribbon around the thistle, looks at the leprechaun, and says, "Don't you dare touch that ribbon while I go get a spade." The leprechaun promises he won't. Seamus runs home, grabs a shovel, runs back to the field, and every single one of the thousands of thistles in the field now has an identical red ribbon tied to it. The leprechaun didn't touch his ribbon. He just gave one to everybody else. Classic malicious compliance. But it gets worse if you actually manage to trap one long term. Take the story of a farmer who caught one by a stream. The leprechaun offered him 3 wishes to let him go. The farmer thinks he's a genius. First wish, I want to be the richest man in the county. Boom, his pockets are heavy with gold.